Media after game four, Knicks versus Celtics, Warriors and Tibbs going on right now. Let's get into it. Rose Gold, where you at, man?
What to do?
Yo, we just saw a crazy ass game four with the Knicks and Celtics. Jason Tatum. Honestly, there's a lot to talk about with this. Like, I know New York is amped up right now, bro. Like, yeah, you showed me the videos. Actually, I want to show some of those videos up here. Let's look that up. Like, what's going on
Yeah,
right now?
have a few friends in at the Garden right now, just at the watch party outside of Penn Station, going
Mm.
crazy. Like New York is going crazy.
See, we see. But nah, that was a big game though. Knicks need to close out the game, game four today at home. Like they couldn't have gone back to Boston and lose both games at home. That would have been catastrophic, in my opinion. Um, but they came and showed out. It was a very close game, very aggressive. But what were your first initial thoughts after the game was done though,
Well,
Rose?
well, well. Even prior to that, Game Three, I felt like Game Three was a must win because these are the defending champs. People knew going into the series the Knicks, had trouble beating the top teams in the playoffs. So for them to have two games up on Boston in TD Garden and to go back to Madison Square Garden, you would think that third game is a must win just to you know guarantee almost the series. You right? Because no team ever came back from a 3-0 deficit. But Boston Celtics, again, the defending champs, they came out smoking. They didn't want to be down 3-0. They knew the severity of that situation. And they won that game. The Knicks came out flat. So, it wasn't really much of a game. So all the fans saved up all their energy from that game because there was no need to be excited for that game and completely used it to rile up the Knicks today. I watched the whole game. I seen the comeback. The Knicks were down 15 points, and in the third quarter, they rode the wave of the fans. I'm telling you, bucket after bucket, the crowd was going stupid. It's just that they knew it was evident that it was going to be a close game. And you already know, Pat, clutch player of the year. When it's a close game, there's nobody better than Jalen Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. That man in the fourth quarter, move out the way. I'm getting to the bucket. 100%. Like, and don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum put on the show, 100%. But you live by the three, you die by the three, man. And you could tell that's just what happens with the Celtics. Down the stretch, they couldn't make their threes. They were still forcing up shots. I don't even really think pretty much they made pretty much almost all their buckets drive into the paint, but they were still looking for jump shots. And that's the issue with the Celtics that I noticed in this game. They live and die by the jumper, which is, it's a give or take. We see that with the Warriors. When it works well, but when it doesn't work, it's disastrous. And but my thoughts on the game, man, you don't want to see a player get down, especially a non-contact injury. Looks like possible Achilles, you know what I mean? Like that's never good. You know, that hurts the morale of the team. It makes the series less competitive because regardless, there's 3-1. If Jason Tatum is just injured or banged up, the team can muster up some courage to get make it interesting still. But with him out and with it being this serious, MRI tomorrow. I guess we'll find out more tomorrow. It's just, it just sucks. It just sucks to see.
Yeah, nah, because we always want to see both teams at their full capacity and at their full potential. Uh, we don't want to see like any easy dubs. But with that being said, we just got to kind of wait and see what comes out of this situation with Jason Tatum. But now, like I can't really I can't agree more because even as I was watching it, like Jalen Brunson, whenever he was getting the ball, like he was making literally any shot or the toughest shots, and he didn't care who was guarding him. They were throwing Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Drew Holiday. Like he was really, getting his look, getting his shots, and then New York, the Knicks were really just really feeding off the home crowd, off the energy, bro. So like everybody, I felt like with this game, everybody really did what they were supposed to in everybody's roles. Um, I mean, I felt like the Knicks were getting into a little bit of a foul trouble early in the fourth, but clearly it didn't matter, right? But now you're right though, and when it comes down to the Celtics, they sit too much on the three. And for a team like even like with Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, like I never really saw that primarily as their game. You know what I mean? Like I know Jason Tatum added the 3-point bag, to his game, but that I never really saw that as like something he has to die by. But it's like you said, you live by the deep, you live by the three, you die by the three. But ultimately, I felt like they could have. I think this was an opportunity for really, for Missoula, for Joe Missoula to muster something up or issue out a change, something, just to switch something up. But apparently, this has just been like the whole tempo throughout the series. Like you would think that going into this game, it's at stake. You know that you're on the road. Regardless, it's not going to be an easy win in the Garden. So it really was like a tough game, and now to see what it's come down to now with Jason Tatum being helped off the court because the leg injury was it seemed pretty bad from what we saw in his reaction from it. But the fact that he had to leave out of here in a wheelchair, bro, is something neither of us would really like to see.
Right.
Coming and then having a 42-point game at that, like he was having
Right. Right.
a great game today.
He's definitely having an
So
outing for sure.
I mean, so that's just really unfortunate that it really just came down to that. But you know, it's part of the game. You know what I mean? So hopefully he can come back, or maybe not. Because I'm not hope I'm wishing he gets well, but I'm not wishing for a speedy recovery.
No, 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 no. Like. Hey, look, the New York in me when he
Yeah,
went down. I'm not gonna lie. I felt
yeah,
bad about it seeing him in the wheelchair after, but I was
yeah.
like FJT and trolling, and it was just the heat of the moment. Like
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm all in now. My favorite players out the playoffs. I'm 100% all in on the Knicks. Um, so it's just you know fuck them,
Mm,
but you don't ever want to see a player go down. But 3-1.
yeah.
I think we got this, man. Knicks in five. Let's get it.
Mm.
Knicks in
So
five.
honestly, so you think they close it out in
Oh man, I
in
feel like
Boston?
we take it back to TD Garden and finish the job in TD Garden 100%.
Mm,
Now, I'm not gonna make it seem like it's gonna be a walk in the park.
mm,
Again, defending champs, right? But non-contact injury. I feel like Jason Tatum 9 times out of 10 he's not playing,
mm,
right?
mm.
Because they're down 3-1. I don't think they just came off a championship. Yeah, it's a two-peat. It's a chance to really start a dynasty. But I
Yeah,
don't think they risk losing Jason Tatum, or damaging his career in the long run, risking him to
yeah,
play. So
yeah.
I think no matter what, whether it's not season ending or whatever,
Mm,
they're definitely not gonna play him next game, in my opinion. Just like the
mm,
Steph thing, right? Just like Steph,
yeah.
pretty much. So and I just don't think without Tatum, I just don't think they have enough to just beat this Knicks team the way they're
Mm,
playing now. If it
yeah,
was a regular season, different
yeah.
ball game. If it was tied 2-2, different ball game. But we're
Mm,
up literally 3-1. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole
mm,
different scenario with all the momentum in the world.
mm,
Everybody's playing well. We see Mikal Bridges have a showing. They have four players and score 20 or more. OG Ananobi, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson. I mean, yeah, Brunson, of course.
Mm.
and there's one more guy, Mikael Bridges, Brunson,
OG.
OG Ananobi, and Cat, Carl Anthony Town scored
Okay.
20 as well. Scored like
Yeah, yeah.
23.
23.
So he was in foul trouble, but it was just an outing, man. It was just a good outing.
Mm.
They came to
And
play, man. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of
yeah,
them.
and then
Like like
and
like
then
the one of the announcers said, this is the biggest game in 25 years for the Knicks, and I couldn't agree more, man. Because this is definitely a make or break game.
mm, mm. Nah, for sure, for sure. And then even like as I'm breaking this game down, uh, obviously well, not obviously, the Knicks shot moderately better than the Celtics this game. But if you look at I mean, they won the rebound battle. They had like 11 more rebounds than the Celtics. But the most shocking thing out of this game, though, is the points in the paint, bro. Like Celtics only had 32 points in the paint. The Knicks had 64 points in the paint this game. 64. So
Wow.
that's ultimately going to be a difference maker. That's why the Knicks field goal percentage was better. That's why their points in the paint is much larger, right? And then that's why they were able to really take this game away later on because they were able to stay. They were able to stay in the game, making those shots. Because let me see how many threes did they shoot in general? 48. So they shot like like at least more than 10, at least more than 10 of those shots in there.
Hmm.
And then you see how close the game is still. So
Right.
imagine if they chopped 48. Like let's say they took 33s because the Knicks, pretty much they only made six less threes than the Celtics, right? And they had more free throws at that. You know what I'm saying? So if the Celtics were just playing a little bit smarter basketball and not living by the three, they might have win. They might have would have come out of this game on top and not have Jason Tatum, uh, 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 injured on the wheelchair. Not to say that it's Joe Mazzulla's fault, but it's not Joe Mazzulla's fault at all. But when it comes to Tatum's injury, but what I'm speaking from is the fact that uh, he could have came up with a better scheme. Sometimes there's certain moments where you can't just have these guys free falling all the time. You know what I mean? Like just okay, we're doing our thing. We're trying to find an open look. We're doing the regular run around the screen, setting up plays. Like sometimes I feel like that's where the coach has to come into play. But I mean, maybe I'm speaking from ignorance. Maybe not. I don't know. What do you think?
What as far as what? What are you asking?
Nah, like whose fault is it? Whose fault is it for the Celtics loss? Be honest.
For this loss
Yeah.
or the series?
I would say for this series. Like what got
Okay,
it to
because
this point for the Celtics?
for this loss is just it's just the energy of the like just being in the garden and just being down 2-1, and this being a must win for you is just a lot of pressure, and like you said, live by the three, die by the three, all that pressure just makes it harder to shoot. But as far as the series, just being underprepared, like just or underestimating your opponent, I should say, not underprepared. Because I wouldn't say that the Celtics are underprepared because they're one of the best teams in the league. They're the defending champs once again, played great throughout the season and throughout the playoffs. But it's just underestimating your opponent. Like the Knicks hadn't pretty much beat them all season. Knicks pretty much could have beat any of the top teams in the East. So they just look at the Knicks and just the Celtics probably just how John Morant said that crazy quote one time when he's like, "We're good in the West."
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the Celtics had a "we're good in the East" mentality.
Mm-hmm.
They see the way that Cavs are playing, a little banged up, not really making too much noise in the East. The Pacers, they're not really scared of the Pacers because they got the Pacers beat. Then they got the Knicks in front of them, and it's just like, the Knicks just are the Knicks. So I just feel like and I'm not saying it's all 15 players that feel like that,
Mhm,
because stars are always going to show out, right? The
mhm,
Jason Tatums, the Jalen Browns, they're always going to show out. The Al Horfords, they're always going to play their best. The key role players, the vets, the Drew Holidays. But what about the KPs?
mhm,
What about the other guys?
mhm,
You know what I mean? Like those guys don't always bring it.
mhm,
But if you look in the other side, Cat is balling. I'd rather Cat have 5 fouls and him play hard like how he's playing than just
mhm.
letting, players just blow by him.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I like that Mikal Bridges is balling. I like that Josh Hart, he just plays till the wheels fall off. You get what I mean? Like it's just that hustle, that hunger. And
yeah,
then some players lose that after winning, and you just look, down the line and be like, hey, look, coasting. We're coasting. They were coasting through the East, pretty much.
mhm,
The first round wasn't hard for them really. They kind of destroyed the Magics. You know what I mean? It wasn't really competition, and I just feel like they went into this a little big headed.
mhm.
Would you agree? It's hard to say that because they are the defending champs, but like I said, I'm not really saying Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown came into this big headed, but I'm saying the others. Because if you look at the stats, Kristaps Porzingis didn't play that well, bro.
Mhm.
As well as you see Carl Anthony Towns is playing, you kind of need
Mhm.
Kristaps Porzingis to do that same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm,
So it's like, and examples like that are just what I'm gonna like just mean. And even Drew Holiday, like Drew Holiday, he hasn't really been making that much of a impact, in my opinion,
yeah.
as
I mean,
as
clear,
normally
yeah,
as he does, huh?
yeah. Good. Yeah,
And
no,
then even
because
when you watch the
Brunson's
game,
eating.
you can see they run their system through Pritchard a lot more than they do with Drew Holiday,
Very true. Mhm,
and I think that's a problem,
mhm.
right? Like we know, Pritchard was he 6 man of the year or most improved player, one of that, like something like that. But
Yeah, yeah.
you could tell that they're kind of shifting the way they run their offense.
Mhm,
And if you look back compared to last year, that's not what won them the championship.
mhm.
Drew Holiday was a key piece to them winning,
Yeah, and he didn't
and
even have a
and
good game. He had 4 points.
he doesn't have. He's not having a good series. He's not having a good. He's not to say he's not having a good playoff run. It's just they're just not running a lot through him.
Mhm,
Like the ball is not really in his hands like that. Like I don't like I watched today's game like beginning to end.
mhm,
So I see like what's happening. He's just not getting enough touches. It's bad
mhm,
enough you got Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum when they play well. They're not passing the ball. It's
mhm,
all dribble, dribble, ISO, pass back to me, dribble, dribble, ISO. Right?
mhm, mhm.
It's not really a flow in the offense. So when that happens and you have Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown playing well, the other players have to kind of move the ball around. To
Yeah,
kind of like get everybody else going. And
yeah.
a player like Drew Holiday can do that, but if you put in a guy like Purchase Hand, he's just looking to score.
Mhm.
So I feel like if you ask me, to answer your question, I just feel like that's just my answer. Like it's just not enough Drew Holiday and just players just being big headed and just not being truly prepared.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean. Especially in those
Yeah.
first 2 games, like they chucked up a lot of
Right.
shots. Like, and given the fact that
Right.
like that was a big
Like, oh, we
factor
got
in why.
this. We got this
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. It
attitude, right?
it,
Like,
it was. You can say that it was arrogance to some extent for
yeah.
sure. Because you could probably think
You
that
didn't
the
see the
Celtics were.
urgency. You didn't see the
Yeah,
urgency.
and you know what? It's the only way where I could say there was urgency was I think the Celtics were trying to close the series out before they realized, okay, they actually have something on their hands here. Like I think once it got to like game 3, I think it was almost too little, too late because the Knicks were
And
already
that and
kind
that's
of
when they started playing hard. Right.
yeah, yeah. Because
But
today,
but but if you
obviously,
really look at it, the Knicks,
uh,
they kind of played that to their advantage in game 3. Like, okay, you guys are playing hard. We
mhm,
know it's a must win, but obviously we came out flat. Like we're not gonna. It's not like they're not gonna try. Of course, they're gonna try to give it their all to win that game 3.
Mm,
But we're just gonna, if we don't have the ball rolling by the middle of the third quarter, we're just gonna call it a game
yeah.
and prepare for game 4, right? And you
Mm,
could tell how poised they were for game 4. Like when, like I said, a game where Carl Anthony Towns getting 5 fouls but still producing 23 points. That's a good.
mm,
That's what you want in a
yeah.
playoff game. 'Cause he's playing physical. You get what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
they're still being physical. They're being poised. They're still getting second chance buckets. You know what I mean? Like they're still doing their thing. So
Mm,
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all
mm,
about. And you don't expect that from the Knicks. The Knicks
mm,
are the more poised team. You would look at this series and think the Knicks are the better team. You would think the Knicks are the defending champs the way they're playing.
mm,
You know, and it's not to say, oh, Jalen Brunson's playing great, but he's not playing, oh, like Michael Jordan esque. You know, you can
mm,
stop it,
mm.
but it's harder to stop him when everybody else is producing. And
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I know what you mean.
There's no game plan. You can't game plan for Jalen Brunson if Carl Anthony Towns still give me 20, and then you still got OG Anunoby still giving you 20. But Kyle Bridges is getting on your nerves, getting all the second chance buckets, steals, clutch blocks. You know what I mean? Like there's too much going on in the scouting report.
Hmm.
And with the Knicks, let's let Tatum kill us.
Hmm.
Right? We're gonna let Tatum kill us, but we're gonna contain everybody else, including
Hmm.
Jalen Brunson. I mean Jalen Brown. My
Hmm.
apologies. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Brown is the Finals MVP,
Yeah.
so we're gonna give him a hard time and let Jason Tatum because Jason Tatum's gonna have to carry. You know what I mean? Like so, it's a good game plan. It's risky, but it worked.
Hmm. No. No, I did all that. But let's tap into the other game. The second game for today. The Warriors and Timberwolves, which is currently going on right now, as you can see. The score should be
49-44.
49-44. It's still 49-44. I don't know if it's updating as quick.
Um, I'm not sure.
It probably is. Yeah, it's still
Every
49-44.
time I try to leave to check something, it kicks me out. So I'm trying to just stay in here.
No, I got you. I got you. But yeah, like, what's your insight on this game? Because Steph is somewhat projected to come back at around Game 6, and the Warriors are down 2-1. It seems like the Warriors. I mean, they're going through it right now. I'm not gonna hold you. And it seems like what the Warriors are going through is almost like what the Lakers were going through in the first series, with Julius Randle in particular, right? Because he's balling right now.
Uh,
Huh?
I'm gonna have to cut you off and disagree with that because the Warriors came out game 1 rolling. You know, the difference between I don't want to say it because they lost Steph. It's hard to gauge this because they didn't have Steph the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah,
So it's like,
but that's what I'm
it's
alluding to. This is what I'm alluding to at
but
least
the
right
Lakers
now.
didn't lose anybody.
No. But where I'm coming from is basically this is what their problem is now. Is where I'm coming from because Julius Randle in both series to an extent was a problem for both guys, and we already know the Warriors. One of their biggest issues or one of their semi Achilles heels is the problem with their size and to some extent even athleticism to a degree.
No, right. No, I agree with that. But it's like if you take away the best player of any team,
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter at that point what's really killing you. You understand what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
why like with this game, I don't even really pay too much attention to it right now because it's just basically gonna be like the Warriors are gonna because you gotta understand the Warriors are a playing team. Like let's
mhm.
just be honest. Like this is like what the ninth, 10th seed or something. The Warriors like they were like a bottom of the barrel team. Like
No, they were
they,
the 7th seed.
the seventh seed. Okay, they were the seventh
Yeah.
seed. They were a playing team. So it's just like I just don't like they just I feel like they're gonna fight. You know what I mean? Championship roster. They're gonna fight. They're gonna give it all they got. But it's just this series is over, bro.
You think it's over?
Yeah, this series is over, bro. This series is over. This series is
So you
over.
don't even think.
And
So you don't
it's
even think
funny
they get
because
another.
like, huh?
No, I was just gonna exit. So you don't even think they Warriors can get another dub against the
I think they
Wolves?
lose this game. I think they lose this game in a close bite nail biter,
Mm,
and they probably try to force Steph to play the next game because they're gonna be down 3-1 or something,
mm,
right?
yeah,
And if Steph doesn't play that game is gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be over right then and there
yeah,
in
yeah,
Minnesota.
yeah.
But I feel like they lose this game tonight. It's gonna be a
Mm,
close one. I don't want them to lose. Don't get me wrong. Like I want the Warriors to beat the Timberwolves this series because, of course, the Timberwolves beat the Lakers. You know, I don't want them to go any further
mm,
than the round that they beat our team. Um, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel confident. Like Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, like even if Kuminga plays well, I just don't think they just have enough. Like you said, like the interior is just gonna be too weak. And if you don't have a player like Steph, that's gonna counteract that a little bit to where
mm, mm,
send the Timberwolves in a frenzy. That is just it's just even harder. That it heightens that issue. Like you said, it makes Julius Randle even more unstoppable because you don't have nothing on the other end to like kind of like you know give them a hard time.
mm. Yo, this is really crazy though. You know now Kaminga is like 4 for 5 right now. He's the
Yeah,
only one. Like, and right now Julius Randle has 19 points and 5 boards. So he's like 7 for 11, 3 for 4 right now.
that's the issue with Steve Kerr that I don't like because it probably would have been an even more interesting series if they gave Kaminga that chance soon
Yeah,
as Steph went down. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah,
but he's super hard headed when it comes to that. Like, he doesn't really play his young guys, so you're seeing the repercussions of that. Like
yeah,
so.
yeah. Because and then the thing about it is with the Warriors, it's like because it's like you feel like Draymond Green being the player that he's been through, like you feel like he should be able to step up sometimes in these situations. You know what I mean? Like offensively, knowing good and well that Steph Curry isn't playing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know, bro. It's like with the Warriors, it's almost like they're choosing to lose sometimes, bro. Because I know it's like with the acquisition of Jimmy Butler, this was really to turn things around. And I think with Steph playing, it they probably would have had a really good chance of beating the Timberwolves, low key. But I mean, it's like you said though. Without your best player, it's really hard to kind of gauge that. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here though. I think the Warriors pull out this game tonight, even though it seems like a slim chance. But I'm a, I'm a, I'm gonna say they find a way.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Like it's just I don't know, man. I'm not confident in this series. I'm not confident in the Warriors right now. It's just they were actually like after they won that game, they were actually my pick to win the West.
Mm,
Because I just felt like they just had the momentum. It's like sometimes you can just feel a certain momentum in the team. Like that right now, I feel like in the West, I'm kind of shifting to Denver
mm,
as far as having that momentum to take it all the way. Cause
mm,
like you could just tell like a team that's just playing well on all ends. A surprise player that usually steps up, which is like the Aaron Gordon, last year's Drew Holiday. You know what I mean? Like it's just certain teams just like the Knicks. Like right now, you got Jalen Brunson balling, but you got the surprise player Mikal Bridges, who's like just doing like amazing
mm,
things. Like you know what I mean? Like so it's just I don't know, man.
mm. Yeah, nah. So let's tap into this now. The Cavs and the Indiana Pacers series, bro. Let's talk about this one, man, because now the Cavs is on the brink of elimination after losing Game 4 against the Indiana Pacers. And Donovan Mitchell also he left with an injury though too, but apparently he's still going to be good for next game. Nobody really doubts Donovan Mitchell's grit, but with that being said though, like what's going on with the Cavs though, man? Like this, they looking like the late 2000s Atlanta Hawks, bro.
Oh,
Like
oh,
what's
your pick
going
for the
on?
your pick for the championship this year?
Hey, to be honest, I said championship.
Yeah, you did.
Hey
You
man, I
did.
was trying to have some faith, man. I was trying to, you know what? There is
That was your
nothing
pick
I
in the
can really
beginning of
say.
the season, and before the playoffs, that was your pick, brother.
It definitely was. Because you know what though, I thought they would have been
I
able to.
mean, they were running through everybody all season, but I like, hey, look, I'm not a believer of that. Like I said, they're looking like the Hawks, the Raptors, like every Celtics that one season when they like
Yeah,
it's just there's always those teams that just come out smoking,
yeah,
right? But they just haven't been there yet. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And then when you go through all of that and you're not fully prepared for it and it just comes out of nowhere, all
yeah,
momentum, once that momentum simmers down, players start to get hurt,
yeah,
right? And you start to see that with the Cavs. Like they're getting banged up and
yeah,
they just, they without their without Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, they just can't, they're not a good enough team
yeah.
to
Not again.
just to withstand everybody else. Like it just
Especially
is
the
what it is.
Pacers.
I felt like if they had it, it's just nah, it just can't happen, man. Like, and the Pacers, like they've been there before. They haven't been all the way, but like this isn't nothing new to them. These nitty gritty battles, and what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. The East, they've been doing this. They're like the Celtics. They're what the Celtics were before the Celtics won a championship.
Yeah.
Just getting right there every year.
Mhm.
And the thing about the Pacers, they're really pretty much that differentiates them between the Celtics. They're more of the underdog.
Yeah.
People come into this like into every Pacers series thinking they're gonna lose,
Yeah.
but they surprise everybody every time.
But what I did say though is is that
Here come
the
damage control.
who me is that the Pacers are a team that we can't overlook. You know what I mean? Because like even though I might not have had them going far this year, I do see the huge potential in them, even like within 2 to 3 years together. Um, because everything just meshes. And you have young guys in every corner of this team, right? You have emerging guys on this team who contribute, like Benedict Mathurin, Miles Turner. He had a crazy game shooting, knocking down threes in the other day. Even Tyrese Halliburton, he didn't even have like a crazy game, but they still managed to really blow the Cleveland Cavaliers out by 40 points by halftime. So I mean, all I'm saying is that I did emphasize,
But this is a soulless Cleveland Cavaliers team, right now.
but it's like
They're
what you
just
just said though. It's like kind of like with the Pacers, they've kind of they don't have championship experience, but they've kind of been here before in
yeah, they
terms
have
of the
playoff experience.
exactly like the competitive fervor and together. You know what I'm saying? So, and then now when you're factoring that in with somebody like Pascal Siakam, who has won it all, that's adding to the veteran experience, and he helps with the tempo and the mentality to be ready to go into that situation. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing about it is with Pascal Siakam too, he's not old. You know what I'm saying? Like he's an older guy, but can still contribute very much so. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna hold you. Now it's like it's hard to deny the Pacers at this point. For real, for
Okay,
real. What?
so can we? Because let's be honest, like I know this both series aren't over yet, but it's just in my opinion, I feel like it's gonna be the Pacers and the Knicks Eastern Conference Finals, which kind of like is not really as bad as people think.
Mm,
It's
mm,
like a Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing kind of thing. You know what I mean? It kind of like nostalgic almost, but
mm, mm.
um, I feel like. Do you think the Pacers? What Pacers? What are the underdog or the Knicks the
No, they're the
underdog?
underdog. No, the Pacers are the underdog. Even though the
See
Pacers beat the
again,
Knicks
you
last,
see now. Yeah, you see how that happens again. You see how the Pacers been to the Eastern Conference Finals and they're still the underdog.
but I feel like this is a different Knicks team. To be fair,
It
you know
is.
what I'm
It
saying?
is. It is. So
Like last year, like they didn't
the
have
Knicks are the
Mikal.
better team. I'll be honest. The Knicks are the better
Yeah,
team. They have the better
yeah,
players. So
yeah. And I don't think the Knicks are gonna let that slide. Like what happened last year, I don't think they're gonna let that slide again this year. If they do, man,
and
oh man,
I also feel like if you beat the defending champions and lose, and I don't want to, I hate to like say this about the Pacers, like you know what I mean, but
yeah,
like you can't beat the defending champs and then go out like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I leave it up to the Knicks. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to jinx them. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want. I'm trying to speak very light here. You know when I say these things,
Mhm.
but like
Yeah.
it'll be really Knicks esque to beat the defending champs and then lose to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, bro. To let the Pacers go to the finals and get swept or something like that. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like so it'll be one of those situations. Like, oh my god, like like because come on, like
Mm, mm,
mm, like at this point, that if the Celtics get knocked off, we're having a new defending champ. We're having a new champion.
yeah.
So that's my
Yeah.
favorite thing about the playoffs. I love it when the defending champs get knocked off because that I feel like that gives every other team a certain type of hunger.
Mm,
This is ours. It's wide open now. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like
mm,
it's a whole nother playoffs once the defending champions get knocked off the playoffs, bro.
mm,
So it's gonna give teams like the Pacers that confidence, like, hey, look, we could take this, bro.
mm.
We could beat the Knicks, like Denver, you already know they've been here before. That like once if the Celtics get knocked off, the Nuggets are the only defending champs. If the Warriors can't do it,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
So it's
Yeah,
like
you're right.
it's almost like, and then let's be honest here. That series is tight. So that's not a that's not a given that the Nuggets even walk out of that one.
Yeah. No, you're right. For
So
sure.
let's just imagine a scenario where the Nuggets, um, Celtics, and the Warriors get knocked off. Somebody's gonna be a new champ. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and in my opinion, I wouldn't be mad at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't hurt LeBron's legacy.
Yeah.
So
Nah. But hey, let's talk about other news that happened. The NBA draft lottery. You know, we saw what went down with that. The Mavs hit the
yeah, mafia play
jackpot.
the biggest mafia play. The mafia strikes again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, can they
I'm
make
gonna
it
start
any
calling
more
him Adam
obvious?
Corley. I'm gonna call him Adam Corleone because this is definitely rigged.
All
There's
right,
no
so
way
look,
about it. Man.
damn, and then check this out. Check this out right here. So this is right now the 2025 NBA draft lottery order. The Mavs, can you see it? Should be up right
Yeah,
now. Mavs, Spurs, Sixers, Hornets, Jazz, Wizards, Pelicans, Nets, Raptors, Rockets, Trailblazers, Bulls, Hawks, and Spurs again. So Spurs got two. I mean, because of that
yeah.
trade that they
They
did
had
with
a pick
Sacramento.
swap with Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, Atlanta too.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So they are eating this draft. The Spurs are
Yeah.
going to like they're going to be a problem
They
these
always
next.
they always have like good positioning in the past couple drafts. Like they got
Mhm.
Vassell, they got
Yeah.
Steve Castle, they got Wimby, of course. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like they're in a good position for the future. And then from
Mhm.
here on out, though, after the season, it's gonna be all OKC from here on out.
Mhm.
If they
Mhm.
end up keeping their picks, OKC's gonna be in that position to where
Mhm.
they're gonna have all the picks for like the next few years, and they're
Yeah.
gonna have actually more if they keep their picks. They're gonna
Yeah.
actually have more. But before we get into this draft, I seen something that I wanted to talk about real quick before I forgot. Um, or you could note it down and we could talk about it later for me so I don't forget. Teams like that Giannis can move to, and they were saying
Mm,
like OKC if they fall to Denver, they might be able to make a push. So I want you to kind of notate that like
mm,
possible teams for Giannis,
mm.
so I can remember that point because I think I don't want to forget that. But as far as the draft, go ahead, finish what you were saying. If you were saying something, sorry.
No, no, no. I was just alluding to the whole thing with the draft, but it's just like could the NBA make it more obvious, bro? Like really, the Dallas Mavericks,
Yes.
I get the number one pick the same year
Yeah.
the Luka Doncic is
It,
is
it
traded.
it's very similar to the AD thing. When AD got traded to the Pelicans, they got Zion that year. It's like they made sure Wemby went to a team with pop.
Mm.
A coach or organizations that's been known
Yeah,
to, develop their
it, it
bigs.
it just
Like
always seems like like whatever team got the shaft that year always
yeah.
ended up getting the number one
Right,
pick.
right.
You know what I'm
And it's
saying?
not
Like
every year. They don't do it every year. They only do it
yeah,
when it's like certain particular years where it's like, all right, this is Cooper Flag, he has to go here. Okay, this is
yeah,
Wimby, he has to go here. This is Zion, we have to make sure he goes here. Like it's
yeah,
always something. Like it's always like a storybook or like a perfect scenario.
yeah,
And let's just say that this lottery just saved Nico's job,
mm,
the GM in Dallas.
yeah,
It might have just
yeah.
saved his job or extended it for longer, because you know what I mean?
Because first draft can still shit the sheets, man.
Huh?
I said first overall picks can still shit the sheets.
Yeah, yeah, they fill seats. This is Cooper Flag. Cooper's going first.
No, no,
And
no.
he's
Yeah,
he's like a
but
prodigy, so he's definitely gonna fill the seats up for sure.
mm,
So, like, if you're gonna replace Luca, I'm not gonna say, we don't know what Cooper's gonna be in the NBA, and I'm not gonna compare him to Luca. I'm not gonna do that, right?
yeah,
But Cooper's supposed to be a really good player, So
mm, mm,
I guess that's a good consolation prize for them because then you still
mm.
got Kyrie, you still got AD, but like since this is still about the lottery, what do you think? Do you keep that team and like keep that around Cooper, or do you just blow it up and just like go the Thunder route? What do you do if you're Dallas? Because they're in a weird scenario where they're like, this is all right. This is supposed to be a projected number one pick, a great player. But what do you do? Do you build around that? Do you like what do you even
Nah,
do? Because he's super young.
I mean, but given the fact that like the type of players that he has around him, I wouldn't blow it up. You know what I mean? Like,
Right
I
away,
think,
right?
but I think it is a really tough decision to make because Kyrie. I think because the biggest thing is Kyrie is hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So none of this is really gonna really work out the way it's supposed to because Kyrie is hurt. So it's not like Kyrie can obviously come back and play ball and still hoop like a mofo. But the problem is, one, they would have to kind of stand they would kind of have to stay, hold fast, throughout the season, try to stay within competition, which is difficult in and of itself with them being in the Western Conference at that. You know what I mean? And then you also have to worry about like the wear and tear on Kyrie also, because let's say if the Dallas Mavericks are probably fighting for a playing position or near the bottom of the standings, that's gonna obviously have some put some urgency on the team, right? So, and we know the Mavericks are not going to be one of the best teams in the West next year. Like they're not. So more than likely they're going to be fighting for a playoff position, or they're going to be competing for seeding more than likely, right? And then so that's probably going to put out some urgency in either Kyrie or AD's play. And we all know how both those players can be injury prone. You know what I'm saying? So my thing about it is that a team like the Mavericks, for it to look good moving forward, they would have to kind of have like the Cleveland Cavaliers sort of start of the season. They would have to get the ball rolling as soon as the season starts, so that there's somewhat of a cushion in the second half of the season. So
which is
as
easier
far
said
as
than done, like you said in the West.
yeah, and then so I think with Cooper Flag, I don't you don't break it up because Cooper Flag's on the team. I mean, he's a rookie. He's going to be paid on a rookie contract, right? So you could still allocate your funds into other players and things that you may need. But I think it would probably be a valuable situation for Cooper Flag to be around those sort of players. And then still, even if they're not playing, I mean, hopefully Kyrie can come back, maybe in
January.
yeah, like January, February, you know what I'm saying? So like the season, it still may look up for the Dallas Mavericks as long as they can stay afloat. And AD can play well because we've seen AD in the past 2-3 seasons still play a majority of the game. So if he could still be somewhat healthy and keep this team in competition, and we've seen other guys from the Dallas Mavericks also step up like Najee Marshall. He might be getting a lot more playing time next year moving forward. So I think it would be valuable for Cooper Flag to get to kind of get mentored by players like AD and Kyrie and Jason Kidd. Well, I think Jason Kidd left, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
Yeah, I think he
am I
resigned.
tripping? He
I
resigned.
believe he. Yeah, I think he like he. No, I think he resonated from the position. I believe they parted ways. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm,
Like when they lost at the end of the season.
yeah. Let me see. Just want to double check.
And I'm not mad at him either.
Did he really? No, he's still the head coach. Okay,
Okay, okay.
yeah, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I don't know why
I
I felt
could have
like I
sworn he
seen it.
did. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. I
nah,
could have
low
sworn I
key.
seen that as well.
Let me see. I don't know why. Oh no, he bought an ownership group recently. Oh no, that was 2 weeks ago. Okay, nah, there was nothing. Okay, I'm bugging then. Um, but yeah, so I think it would be great. It would be great experience for him. And what better situation could you ask for? You know what I mean? Like if you want to learn how to dribble, you shoot, you talk to Kyrie. You want to learn how to play defense, talk to AD. You know what
You
I'm
want to know
saying?
how to
Like,
get hurt? You talk to both the guys.
you know what I mean? And then you want to play smart basketball, you have a coach like Jason Kidd. So he's surrounded by talent, uh,
Yeah,
experience.
Clay Thompson's
And,
there as well.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there's I feel like the Dallas Mavericks, despite all their flaws in recent memory, they still have a lot to offer. So I think it's a good situation for them.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But going back into the playoffs though, because right now the Warriors are up by 2 and it's halftime. Right? Right? Right?
That's
you
good. That's good.
know what I'm saying? So tomorrow, right? Let's get into tomorrow's games. So tomorrow the 13th. Obviously the Pacers and the Cavs. So you think they close out tomorrow's game?
It depends. Like I think they said something about Darius Garland possibly coming back.
Mm,
So so if he comes back, then I feel like they probably don't close it out. But
mm,
I just feel like it just sucks. Like I just feel like like I don't want to say they're getting dealt a bad hand. Because at the end
mm,
of the day, injuries happen. Like we just seen it with Tatum stuff.
mm,
Like
mm,
it happens in the NBA. But
mm,
it's just like I just feel like that series is just underwhelming. It's
mm.
just
Yeah.
it's they're just the Cavs are a much better team than what we're seeing. So
Mm, mm,
it's just like the Warriors series, man. It's just hard to gauge it. So they play hard. I see them playing hard because they've been playing hard all series, even when they get blown out. But the Pacers right now, they just, a guy like I'm not gonna lie, like Halliburton has ice in his veins, man. He's him.
Mm,
Like the same way I feel about Jalen Brunson and how clutch he is and shit. Halliburton has that same dog in him, just like all the other dogs. You know,
mm, mm,
he isn't shy in the moment or none of that. Like he's fully capable of closing out a team in a closeout game. You know,
mm, mm,
so and I think now that they lost Donovan Mitchell, I believe, if I'm not
mm,
mistaken, I think
mm.
Donovan Mitchell's gonna be out. So
Yeah,
if they don't
but
have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, it's just gonna be another blowout, man, to close them out.
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. I think they closed it out, man. I think
Yeah,
they closed it out. I
they've
think
been,
Indiana, man,
they've
they,
been here
they just
before. They just gonna wait in the paces and they're gonna wait to see who they got next.
yeah, yeah. I think it's over, bro.
Bro,
And another one I'm wrong about. It's all good.
you know what I mean? It's all
Really?
good,
Yeah.
man.
But all right,
And
and
then
then
hopefully the Cavs come back next season. Just focus less on trying to just break all these records. Like teams be focused on just like win, win, win all these games. Like yeah, you guys locked in the first seed a long time ago. You should have just rested your players. You know what I mean? Then you wouldn't be here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
True, true. With all the wear and tear,
all
so
the
you
wear
feel
and
like
tear, bro.
it's taking
Yeah, you
effect.
just wanna just the ball was rolling, everybody's playing well,
Mm,
lost a little over 10 games. So like everybody wanna play. Everybody's playing
mm,
for a contract, everybody just trying to but when it comes down to it, if you want to make it all the way to the final, you do kind of have to have all right, go deep into your bench. You have to all right, one of your bench players have to kind of go off for a game or two. You know what I mean? Something like you can't just always just stick to your stars or you know what I mean? Like just overwhelm your stars or overplay your stars throughout the season.
mm,
Eventually it catches up. And especially for a
mm,
team that hasn't been there, they're going 150 miles an hour every single game. They're not
mm,
doing what LeBron do or what a Luca or Tatum do and or even a Joker and just pacing themselves throughout. Go for like 6 for 21 and still compete. You know what I mean? Like pacing yourself. All right, this is a bad game
mm,
for me shooting. Let me do all these
mm,
other things. Like
mm,
so
mm,
these guys don't understand that. They just run, 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 and
mm, mm.
run yourself right into a wall.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
But now getting to our last thing, tomorrow's game, right? Thunder versus Nuggets. So obviously, in the previous game, Thunder won 92-87. And then the next game now is going to be back in OKC with the series being tied 2-2. Um, how do you see the series playing out? Like because this seems like this series looks like it has game 7 written all over. I think this is a
Oh yeah.
battle of the two best teams um, in the conference, and
In the
we're seeing
playoffs right now.
nah, low key. No, you're right. With the exception of the Knicks, low key.
Yeah, yeah, with the exception of the Knicks, the way they're playing. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Um, but in this particular series, like both teams and both of their players haven't really particularly been shooting well. But it's been one roller coaster ride of a series so far between these two teams. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah.
Like, how do you see what goes? What do you see happening tomorrow?
And the series is tied right now, I'm assuming, right? 2-2.
Yes.
Tomorrow, they're in where? OKC or
Yeah. 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 Okay. See.
Ah, I feel like tomorrow OKC at home probably takes it in a nail biter. And then Denver takes it. Yeah, Denver takes it game 6, and I feel like Denver probably wins game 7. So all right, so yeah, so I think the Thunder wins it next game for sure. Um, it's tough because this is the best series. This is the best series so far.
Mhm.
Well, left. I wouldn't say it's the best series. I felt at first the best series was Denver and Los Angeles, but
Mhm.
the Clippers kind of stole the bag at the last game there. Kind of made it
Yeah.
uninteresting, but
Yeah. Drop the ball.
so yeah, they dropped the ball in that one. James Harden, preferably,
Yep.
but Josh, but yeah, this has potential to beat that series if it goes to Game
Mm,
7. But I don't know. It goes to Game 7 regardless. I think whether Denver wins this game, like the next game,
mm,
or OKC wins the next game, I still think it
mhm,
goes Game 7 because both teams understand the urgencies. Both teams are super good. Both teams are great teams. Both teams
mm.
have the MVPs, which we still don't know who's the MVP yet. I really think they're waiting on
I
who
forgot
wins the
all
series.
about that.
Right, right. It really feels like they're waiting on whoever wins the
Yeah,
series to
on
kind
this
of make
series.
to
Yeah.
make the decision, which I'm not 100% mad at.
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy it's taking this long.
Yeah. Yeah. For real.
Because
For real.
it's like whoever wins should win it, and if it
Mm,
goes the other way, I'll be very disappointed. You know what I mean? Regardless, but um, I just think it's gonna go Game 7. Like, and I just feel like Denver, being that they're the team that been there before, I'm just gonna have to give them the benefit of the doubt and take and just give it to them. My love hate relationship for Russ is just it's just there, man. I'm just rooting for him. Not gonna lie, I really don't want to hear AK's mouth, but it is what it is, man. Go
Man,
Knicks.
I'm not gonna.
I, I would I
I'm
would
gonna go.
love for Russ to make it to the finals and blow it for the Joker though. That'll be perfect for me. To have the Nuggets make it to the finals against the
Mm.
Knicks and Russ completely blow it and help the Knicks win the championship. Oh, I would love that. That would make me so happy that LeBron James got knocked off in the playoffs in the first round. Just so I could see that for sure.
Nah, that would be a crazy outcome though.
That would be a crazy
Crazy,
outcome.
crazy, crazy. But I think OKC can pull this one through. I mean, as a first seed and especially playing like when playing like the best team in your conference, I think this is the game where OKC has to have another showing, right? Like I know in one of the games against Denver, they blew them out. Like I think OKC is better than the Nuggets right now. I think given the obstacles that this team had to face, like I think if they still had Mike Malone, I think this would be a different series. But it's the fact that
Okay.
you have a rookie coach, and this team is in OKC has kind of been meshing well all year, and they can defend. They're one of the best teams when it comes to the points against the spread. They're a defensive team. They're the best team when it comes to getting turnovers and particularly steals at that. So, regardless of how you put it, I think OKC is just a really, really tough team to go
My
against.
whole
And
thing is I just feel like if it's a game 7 and if it's a close game in a game 7, I just feel like
mm,
Jamal Murray is very Jalen Brunson-esque to where
mm,
it's like you're just not gonna be able to stop him. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like he's just gonna
yeah,
like really like just something. I just feel like it's just those scenarios where it's just like that when you have a championship team sometimes or like yeah the Nuggets I give it to you, the Thunder are the better
mm,
team right now 100% all season they
mm,
were, but I
mm,
just feel like when it's that time the ball is just gonna just land in the Nuggets hands or the calls are just gonna go the Nuggets way. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be certain things that's just gonna happen that is not
mm,
really necessarily gonna be the Thunder's fault.
mm,
It's just gonna be like it's just not your time yet kind of situation.
mm.
Like, but like you said though, like if anybody can do it, the OKC can definitely do it. They're the number one
Yeah.
seed in in the West. So they're 100% the team to beat in the West. So I like it can go either way. It can go either way. It can go either way, man. It could go. It can definitely go either way, man.
Yeah,
Like
it definitely
their
could. It
supporting
definitely.
cast are definitely a bunch of dogs. But if you look in the other team, their supporting cast are a bunch of dogs as well. You know, so it's 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 a tough one. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, agreed.
I
Agreed.
just feel like
Agreed.
I feel like OKC, like they're both teams are shooting poor, but I feel
Hmm.
like OKC have more flaws. They're the better team, but they have more holes than the Denver Nuggets do.
Hmm.
Like they're a better ship, they're a better boat, but they got some damages on the inside. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
better looking
Yeah.
boat, more damages. Trust me.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. All right, man. This is Cash Media. Though we had a great set of games today for the NBA. Got some good news for Dallas Mavericks fans. So it's not all bad.
Right, right. Finally, they get some good news. It's been a long time coming, bro.
Yeah, man. But you know, as the NBA playoffs boils over, just gonna keep getting more and more into it, and then we're gonna have a lot more conversations and topics to discuss. You know, like and subscribe as usual. You know, always show support for the Cash Media. We're still a growing platform, but we'll get there one way or another. Right there. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are around the world. It's Cash Media. Back at you. See you then.